Good morning. See how you got on your own yesterday, Friday, my day off. Augsburg, Union Berlin. Usual rules apply with Union Berlin. When the market speaks in their favourite, take note. Who was the favourite here? Augsburg. They get going first half or second half? Second half. So you could have laid the draw here at half time, and in laying the draw, hoping that Augsburg would score first, being the favourite. And if they did score first, you'd have got a cash out opportunity. Of course, if you wait for 2-0, that's a guaranteed near 100% return. So Union Berlin continue to underperform when not favourite and continue to deliver when they are favourite. So watch out for that. It's an interesting little technique based really around the questioning why the market put Augsburg as Union Berlin as a strong favourite when it just come off the back of something like double-figure consecutive losses. So that's what piqued my interest with them, and it's paid off very well. Drogs and Derry, good performance from Drogs. Second bottom against second in the league. Who scored first? Was it a recovery from Derry City? Well, Drogs scored first. That could have been your opening gambit to take on a Drogheda lead. Second in the league, don't forget. So that could be the potential angle. I know we're not dealing with many matches, but you could have got a nice trade out of that, all done and dusted by half time. Far too early in the season to take 0-0s on second half, so don't forget that. You've got no gauge to work off. So Waterford in particular, it's probably a late red card if Galway couldn't take advantage. Indeed, 89th minute. Shelburne and Bowes, not much occurring there, but a favourite going down. Shamrock Rovers, emphatic stuff against Sligo. Befits the odds as well. Perfect, isn't it? 3-0, 3-1. Any other home score. The only other odds-on favourite was Cork City. Couldn't get anything out of UCD. Kerry kept Treaty United quiet. So many 0-0s. Don't forget, don't take these 0-0s on. You don't have that backbone of form to work off. This was an obvious banker bet. 3-0, 3-1, any other home score, perfect. Goals before half-time, spoilt a little by that concession for Salernitana, but no real trading angle at all. Eerste Divisie, over 2.5 goals, anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7 over 2.5 goals. Both teams to score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7. So had you put that in an accumulator, which I like to do on a Friday, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals accumulator, maybe you need to start looking at putting that rather than an accumulator into trixies and doubles and stuff like that. Because Den Haag and Helmond let you down from what would have been a whopping payout. Ka-ching. That's the Eerste Divisie. It's a goal fest, ordinarily. La Liga, Betis against Celta Vigo. Odds on favourite one there. Betis' home form is excellent. So any Celta Vigo lead could have been vulnerable. But no, Miranda, the incredibly funny, he said cynically, BBC comedian, scoring the first goal. And Fekir getting the second for Betis. Larson looks like a consolation at the end there. So that pretty much went as per expectation. You could have laid the draw second half in this one, rather than in Ireland. This one you've got backbone of form to work off. In Ireland, you don't. Those were the main leagues yesterday. Trabzonspor, 1.4 favourite. Depends on the timing of the Sivasspor goal, whether you would have taken insurance out on this. 52nd minute. So you could have taken insurance out and just sat back. You've got to break even out of the whole thing. I think that was the only major matches. Let's have a quick look through. Yeah, English Championship. Wow. You know, because you've been attending live streams, that this is not a shock result, is it? I've told you, warned you. Don't pay attention to the pre-match odds when you've got a relegation threatened side playing Let's have a look at the standings. The key to the success for Plymouth there. Look at that. Boom. All the way up to 48. Take 3 away and they're just on the cusp of the relegation zone. That is why you're going to get these upsets. Leicester City are doing a good job of shooting themselves in the foot here. They're giving Leeds an opportunity to sniff out automatic promotion, aren't they? Leeds, Ipswich and Leicester are going to be fighting out automatic promotion. So a bit of a slip up for Leicester. I think that's their second consecutive slip up, isn't it? If my memory serves. Indeed, a 1-0 loss to Millwall. 2 relegation threatened sides beating Leicester consecutive matches. Wow. So you have been warned for today. That could be occurring. And the Viscountleague, a bit too early in the season for the Viscountleague, but it is our summer league. Very, very good tradable league. HJK getting their win yesterday, or a couple of days ago. Hacker, 1.62 favourite. Did Ekanos score first? I think that's a new name to me. Ekanos could be a newly promoted side, but no, it's job done already. Meisterfall and Patoulidis getting the goals there. So a bit early in the Viscountleague, but it is definitely a league to follow. French League 1, Metz against Lens. Again, we're getting an upset. Where are Metz in the league? Are they relegation threatened? Indeed they are. So you have been warned with these relegation threatened sides. They keep pulling out wins in the most unlikely place. And indeed, with an opening goal for Lens, I wouldn't necessarily have taken Lens on here at all. 1.53 favourite. You'd have expected them to put it to bed. But Mikhail Tadze getting the 2 goals for Metz in what is a crucial win for them. Hertha Berlin, emphatic stuff in the Bundesliga 2. Let's have a look at the tennis yesterday. I have asked you to retrospectively trade the tennis. Stefanos Tsitsipas and Sinner. Let's have a look at yesterday. So we take our initial cues from the market. We're looking for a first set loss. Not necessarily there. No, all went the way of the market makers. But a good recovery. Second set. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the underdog winning the first set. The ladies' tennis is not going on at Monte Carlo. It seems they've got some Billie Jean King Cup, sponsored by Michael Jackson. Can you use the odds again? Looks as if the market's getting them spot on, aren't they? Odds on favourites, apart from this one here. Park against Busali. You have a look at the rankings. 301st against 379th, and you think to yourself, can I trust the market being correct about someone ranked that lowly? So this is a difficult one to call. You're looking at the rankings. They're both outside 300. They're not reliable. No, thank you. So please just be careful with those. We've got more ATP Monte Carlo today. I'll be watching from my super yacht while I'm doing my live stream after having lunch at Elton John's house with his husband, David Furniture Removal. So we're looking forward to that today. Novak Djokovic against Casper Ruud. That's going to be fantastic. Look at the rankings initially. It's a top 10 clash. Novak is gettable. So watch out. He could be potentially layable. Tsitsipas and Sinner, again, it's going to be a top-ranked event, this one. 12th against 2nd. Yannick Sinner has been the darling of tennis recently. Barcelona begins as well. Qualifying. We're getting a whole raft of high-quality tennis now from Monte Carlo all the way to September's US Open. Included in that is 3 Grand Slams. So I hope I'll be able to cover 1 or 2 of those for you. But tennis is very good trading. I just do simplistic trading. You can go as deep as you want in the tennis. You can go set betting, etc. Game betting, serve betting, and betting on the serve. or trading the service games. Probably effective in the women's game where the women's serve is not that hot. Munich as well, qualifiers. So we've got some familiar names. Pellegrino, or a familiar name. And we've got some really familiar names in Barcelona. Bagnius, Diego Schwartzman, Grenier. So it's going to be interesting. Let's get back to the football for Saturday. So let's get back to Soccer 24. Tennis 24 is what you'll use for the tennis. Very, very good website, that. Soccer 24, Newcastle against Spuds. Got the previews available. I've done a little bit of research. 2.2 the favourite, though, is telling you this is a tough one to unpick. Newcastle are always to be favoured at home. So it's a very tough one, that 2.2 the favourite. Brentford against Sheffield United. I'm just going to close the window. Some idiot Russian is smoking. It's going into my room. They smoke like chimneys round here, the old Ruskies. Come over to Thailand, smoke them out of house and home, and then go back to Mother Russia. Obviously, no health warnings in Russia just yet about cigarettes. This bloke's puffing all day long, and it comes into my condo. It's awful. But let's look at Newcastle Tottenham. Too tough to call. Brentford and Sheffield United. Well, I've already given you two examples yesterday. These kind of odds of upsets. So I wouldn't be discounting Sheffield United particularly. Oh no, I'm getting it mixed up with Sheffield Wednesday getting back against Norwich. But it's a must-win for Sheffield United. It's quite simple, isn't it? Obvious. Tough to call. In-play stats for me for Newcastle. Brentford and Sheffield United. It's a relegation 6-pointer. So don't expect it to be an easy Brentford win. Particularly 3 score draws and 4 for Sheffield United. 2-2, 3-3, 2-2. They've got goals in them and they're battling. It's more important, I think, for Sheffield United to take the points today off a near rival like Brentford. Keep Brentford down where they can see them rather than giving them a 3-point booster today. No win in 7 for Sheffield United, but no win in 9 for Brentford. I wouldn't be backing them at 1.4. Burnley against Brighton. Only 4 wins for Burnley. 2-2, 2-1, 2-2, 1-1, 1-0 recently. So they're really battening down the hatches. That could play into their hands with home advantage today. Burnley have conceded, though, in the last 14. Opponents have led at half-time in 10 out of 16 Burnley home matches as well. So they tend to shoot themselves in the foot already. But they might be in with a chance here today, Burnley. Usual goal machines, Brighton, have only been scoring 1-0, 1-1, 0-0 goals recently. So Brighton might be vulnerable. But these are very tough matches to unpack. You cannot discount these relegation-threatened sides, such as Luton Town against Manchester City. 1.07 does suggest 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. But this is the ideal time to take Man City. Pre-Champions League and post-Champions League. This is what I call a sandwich weekend, and it's going to impact on these teams. You saw Liverpool against Atalanta. Old Sparkly Teeth changed the side completely, changed the whole dynamic of the team, and got caught with his pants down. He did bring on the cavalry at the beginning of the second half, but that was too little too late. So watch out for Man City. You're going to probably get some of the stars rested today, or playing at a half, or coming on if if Luton lead. But watch out! Don't forget, Luton did lead 1-3 against Bournemouth away from home. Talking of Bournemouth, here they are against Man United at 2.4, the favourite match. Very tough to call. Bournemouth are unbeaten against 5th to 9th at home. But United is solid winning away form against 11th and lower. That's why you're going to get 2.4 the favourite matches. The market, quite simply, can make it as equal an argument for both teams. Spanish La Liga Primera. Atletico Madrid, pre and post Champions League for them is when they're at the most vulnerable, and they're playing top 4 Girona. So this could be a very tough encounter for Atleti today. Rayo Vallecano against Getafe. This one I've done via AI because it's 2.20 the favourite. I don't want to waste time researching, particularly with two poor sides as well. So let AI do it. Conclusion, Rayo Vallecano looks set to continue their resurgence under Perez, likely securing a crucial win against Getafe. Betting on under 2.5 goals could be profitable given the team's recent defensive solidity. So new manager for Rayo Vallecano in a desperate attempt to get out of the relegation places. 5 points from the last 4 league games. Vital draw against Celta Vigo. So watch out for Rayo Vallecano. They're on a point mission, like a lot of these relegation threatened sides are doing, and doing successfully. Mallorca having a great season relative to their usual woes down in the relegation zone. This is another sandwich match pre and post Champions League for Real Madrid. That's when they're at their most vulnerable. Watch out for potential team changes as well to the likes of Vinicius and indeed Jude Bellingham if he's not playing. That's a huge, huge miss for Real Madrid. 3 wins in 4 at home for Mallorca. The last 2 1-0. So they're going to exploit any Real Madrid weakness today if they can just score, keep a clean sheet. Real Madrid have only been beaten once. Are unbeaten in their 11 away, scored in the last 15 away. As I say, Mallorca will be hoping that Jude Bellingham et al. Are rested with this crucial Champions League match upcoming. Cadiz and Barcelona. Sandwich team Barca, pre and post Champions League for them as well. 18th against 2nd. This is your archetypal, could be an upset match. Got a pre and post Champions League away from home against 18th in the league, looking for points. You're going to see Barcelona team changes again today. I don't know who will be rested, but out of necessity, something's going to have to be done with that first 11 to keep them fresh for the second leg in the Champions League. Bayern Munich. Well, bring out the violins. We did take them on against Heidenheim with a 0-2 lead, but we didn't back Heidenheim at 200s. I know I've never mentioned that before. We could have come out there with a huge, huge profit as Heidenheim won 3-2. Harry Kane, well, his children have been in a car accident, so I don't know whether he'll be on the pitch today. Do watch out for that. Köln, they won their last match. Laughably short odds for Bayern Munich. I wouldn't be backing them with stolen money. Take on Bayern as they're 2-0 up, that's for sure. Bochum against Heidenheim. There we go. There's my old pals Heidenheim. I should have backed at 200s last week. 15th against 10th. Both of these sides, well, Bochum got beaten by Köln and Bayern Munich got beaten by Heidenheim. Only 2 wins in 2024 for Bochum Dano. 5 losses in 6. Both teams have scored 9 out of 10 recent matches with just 1 win, and that was against Bayern Munich for Bochum. So they all love beating this Bayern side. Bochum has scored in the last 14, so do expect a goal from them today. And you had a really good showing from Heidenheim last week about their capabilities coming from behind. So watch out for that as a possible play. Mönchengladbach and Dortmund, 1.95 pre and post Champions League Dortmund. So I'm not going to research this one. I've decided to knock that on the head. It's quite simply, if Mönchengladbach lead, is that down to Dortmund changing the team? So that's what we're going to have to ask ourselves. Mainz scoring 4 goals last week. What on earth's going on there? Signs of the apocalypse, quite clearly. Hoff, you couldn't trust them with stolen money. This match has actually frazzled my brain. We've got a side who don't normally score 2 goals, who've scored 4 goals last week against a Hoff who you just don't know who turns up. They can beat Dortmund and then lose to any old dodge pot afterwards. 6 consecutive Hoff matches with at least a goal before half-time might be something for you to think about. Leipzig and the Wolf, 4th against 14th. Leipzig are in the Champions League place and equal on points with Dortmund. Wolfsburg are 5 points above the relegation zone, so it's a must-win for both teams. Wolfsburg have been a little one-dimensional with their score drawing. They don't tend to follow up with that second goal, so they could be vulnerable of scoring first. But Leipzig are unbeaten and not conceded that second goal either at home against 7th and lower. So it's going to be a tough encounter, I think, for the Wolf today. Stuttgart against Eintracht Frankfurt. Stuttgart third in the league. It's a top 6 clash, so it might be tighter than the odds suggest. Stuttgart scored in the last 14. Only 2 wins since the 3rd of February for Frank. 3 losses and a 0-1 win away against the top 7. Got to favour Stuttgart on that basis. Lecce and Empoli, again, 2.10 the favourite for a couple of dodge pots. I'm going to take that through AI. Lecce's last goal was scored in early February. Oh dear. Empoli is unbeaten in the last 8 Serie A matches against Lecce. Lecce has just won 1 at home this calendar year. So it's not looking good for Lecce, is it? Torino and Juve, that's your typical Turin derby. I don't research derbies, but 19 consecutive unbeaten head-to-heads for Juventus. Oh boy, quite compelling. Bologna and Monza. But Bologna have gone really under the radar this season. They're top 4. Who'd have thought that? Only 5 defeats all season. Monza are unlikely to add to that. 2 consecutive losses for Monza. They've failed to score in all away matches, bar 1 against the top 9. Don't forget, we've got a whole raft of other football today. Irish First Division, at 7:30. Good to see Serie A back with us. Eredivisie, PSV Eindhoven against Vitesse Arnhem. AZ Alkmaar, who've have been on the end of a couple of 5-0 defeats recently. 5+ goal defeats. So watch out. They are priced to get out of jail today. 1.33. We've got La Liga 2. We've got the German Bundesliga 2. We've got the Swedish Allsvenskan and the Superettan just beginning its season as well. Likely we'll have our old pals from Norway. Austria as well, perhaps. Austrian Bundesliga. Looks a tough coup on that one, just on the face of it. Belgian Jupiler League, relegation group. Looks tough encounters those. Mechelen and Genk, odds-on favourites at home, always get my attention. Moving on down, probably Croatia next after Brazil. The never-ending Brazilian fixture list. Croatian HNL1 League. Dinamo Zagreb away at Gorica and Lokomotiv Zagreb, 2.6 the favourite there. So not really fancy today. Czech League has been ticking away nicely. Sparta Prague, Mlada Boleslav, your odds-on favourites there. So all of these matches will be part of the live stream today. As you can see, like the Brazilians, the Czechs love a bit of the old footy on a Saturday. Middelfart, top quality name for a team there. I won't be following them. Hillerod against Helsingør at 5:30. All these matches will have in place stats. We've got the English Championship, of course. Odds-on favourites to start with. Leeds, Ipswich, Millwall. Odds-on. Take note. Because they've just lost to Huddersfield and Rotherham. Yet they're odds-on today. Is that the type of the old Union Berlin factor? After 2 particularly poor results, they are actually favourite today. So, interesting. Watch out for Millwall. They've got to win. Barnsley, odds on. Blackpool. Derby. Lincoln. And Stevenage. Watch out for those potential upsets today as well. They occur a lot in these lower tier leagues. Doncaster. Stockport County, ticking along nicely at the top of the league. Wrexham against Forest Green. I think Forest Green's last opponent were also about these odds and were lost easily. Forest Green lost easily in the last match. I think it was against West Brom. So I expect similar from Wrexham today, who really impressed midweek. We did take on a 2-0 Wrexham lead. I think it was against Crawley. We took on that 2-0 lead, but they were very emphatic. Because Crawley had scored 3 or 4 goals in the last 3 away matches. And Mansfield just beat Forest Green last match. Forest Green are one of those sides who desperately need points, but this, be careful. Wrexham really in the groove at the moment. So that's Finnish Viscountliga, of course, today as well. 2 odds on favourites, but there's no background to the form. It's only 2 or 3 matches old. Rennes and Toulouse, Strasbourg and Reims, French League Dirt as well. It's starting to brew up nicely. Just keep an eye on the standings. Make sure you know who needs what, where and when. So we've got Auxerre, Saint-Etienne. Saint-Etienne is especially keen to keep winning, keep Angers off their back. We've got these sides queuing up in case Rodez and Laval cock it up. So that's plentiful motivation. And at the bottom, there's 4 relegated. Nancy are in there, Bastia, Dunkirk, Ajaccio. Anyone under 40 points, I would say, are vulnerable to those final 2 places. So it's brewing up nicely. Be the same story in the German Bundesliga as well. It's just underneath. Holstein Kiel, strong favourite today. I think they're top of the league. Schalke, favourite today. German Bundesliga side, not quite got out of it yet. Would be desperately keen to get back into the Bundesliga, Schalke. Otherwise, you can drift, like I think Hertha Berlin, drift outside of the Bundesliga, and you'll never know when you're going to get back in again. So those are the main matches today. I'll see you at 2:30 for a live stream on the YouTube channel. So I'll just show you Football Trading Profits. So go to youtube.com @Football Trading Profits. And in the live section, you'll see my live stream. So come along. Hopefully we can get you some decent green. And we can also occasionally today keep an eye on the tennis. Want to dip your toe into the tennis? I've got plenty that I can pass on to you. I just need to collate it. I've done a lot of writing on tennis with the thoughts of doing a tennis manual. So we've got all of this info to share with you. Medical timeouts, just some different tennis angles, you know. This is what we're looking for in the tennis. But we're looking for Karolina Wozniacki to cock it up. So this is her after the first set, 1.04 shot. So this is what you do. You trust her to fight back after a set down. But we don't want to give you that, as Chris Tarrant would say. The third set, Wozniacki was 5-1 down in the third set. You fancy backing at highs of 50 for Wozza? 5-1 down. It's like I showed you the other day. It's a very low risk. And watch the recovery. 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 5-6, 7-5. Roy of the Rovers stuff. Quite outstanding. That's what we're looking for when we're trading, that kind of thing. That's a huge odds move for very little liability. So I'll see you at 2:30 p.m. today. Let's see if we can make some cash. But this is a tricky day. It's pre and post Champions League. Have a great day. See you at 2:30 on YouTube.